Hi, my name's Fiona Robertson. I'm one of Scott Killaby's senior facilitator trainers and also the co-creator of the Anxiety Inquiry. And I wanted to introduce it to you today in this video. We've now been using it for more than a year with many clients in all kinds of situations. We've seen it be very helpful where people are suffering with fear or anxiety, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, but also with anger, rage, irritation, and frozenness, numbness, a sense of disconnection or resistance in particular. So it's very useful across the board, and that appears to be because it cuts right to the heart of the fight, flight, freeze response that obviously is present in all of us, as it is in all animals. Clearly, when we're in imminent physical danger, the fight, flight, freeze response is the system that gears us to be able to flee, run away, to fight or to freeze, all of which are obviously part of the survival mechanism. However, for many of us, it feels like the fight, flight, freeze response is actually a bit out of kilter, that it tends to get triggered even when we're not actually in imminent physical danger. And that gives rise then to often anxiety or a tendency to be angry frequently, for example, or numbness, freezing, resistance, and so on. Or it could be a combination of all of those things. What we do with the Anxiety Inquiry is to take a look at that in a very natural, gentle, and very fluid way. So this isn't about trying to talk anybody out of their response or trying to get anybody to see things differently. It's simply to look at what's here. So if you think of an example of something that you find frightening or difficult, you'll notice that when you think of that, several things happen. There will be words, so there may be the word dentist or the word spiders or whatever it happens to be that you're triggered by. And there will most likely be images playing too alongside the words, so there might be memories of a previous traumatic event or imagination of what may happen in the future, images of cars crashing or the dentist drill coming or whatever it is. And accompanied with the words and images, there will also be feelings in the body, often around the chest or in the stomach, but they could be anywhere. And it's that combination of things, the combination of those feelings in the body, plus the thoughts, plus the images, that give the anxiety, the anger, whatever it is, its sense of reality. It's what Scott calls the Velcro effect. It's that sticking together of those various components that makes things feel so real. So, as anybody who's suffered with anxiety, for example, knows, even though on a cognitive level we do understand, we have a sense that what we're experiencing isn't logical or rational, because it feels so real, it's very difficult to take yourself out of it. I mean, I know that very well because I had panic attacks over many years. So what we do when we sit down with somebody to do the AI is obviously to start off by understanding what's going on for them. So we would have a brief conversation about what's happening for you, what's showing up in your life in relation to this topic. And then to start to simply look at each component of your experience. So with eyes closed, we'd start off looking generally at some words. So we might simply look at the word spiders. Now, if you're somebody who's really phobic about spiders, the chances are even seeing that word will give rise to a response in your body, as well as accompanying images. So over the course of the session, we'd go through each of those things in turn and ask basically one simple question. Is that word a threat? Are those images a threat? Is that feeling in itself a threat? Now, it may be at the beginning of the session that all of those things may feel like a yes. Yes, actually, that word dentist, it is a threat because it's accompanied by images and by feelings in the body. What we find is that as we slowly peel apart each one of those, we see that on their own, actually, they're not a threat. Now, at some point in this process, what we may come across is a sense of a person here. There's a person here who's threatened or in danger or being attacked or weak or unsafe or vulnerable, whatever it happens to be. And so we'll also look to see if we can find that person too, because obviously the fight, flight, freeze response implies both something out there that is threatening or attacking and something here which is able to be threatened or attacked. And once we've seen that we can't actually find either of those, then the fight, flight, freeze response can start to calm, even where it's been over-triggered for many years and we've been on an overactive, hyper-alert, over-vigilant state. My experience is that we start to relax, we start to see repeatedly that actually there isn't a threat here, and all of that can actually start to relax, that we don't need to stay guarded, that there's nothing here to protect. Now, often what emerges is that as children, particularly as very young children, it felt like that response was actually protecting us. It was actually defending us in some way. And obviously, we very, very gently dismantled that mechanism because it's no longer needed, because that doesn't need to happen anymore. And we find that actually far from then becoming somehow reckless or incautious, we have a much easier relationship with life because we're not constantly triggered into anxiety or fear, anger or irritation. We can have much more equanimity about what's happening around us. So if you'd like to know more, take a look at Scott's website, that's www.killaby.com, or come and join us on the Facebook page, Scott Killaby's Living Inquiries. We'll be very happy to talk to you more about the AI and all the other inquiries. Take care now. Bye.